Hey y'all, my name is Priscilla Galvan. I am a Human Development and Family Studies major. I chose to do my paper over dyslexia and how it affects child development. So what is dyslexia? Dyslexia is a neurological condition that's caused by the brain just being wired differently. 1 in every 10 people have it. It's the #1 learning disability across the U.S. To be diagnosed with dyslexia, a licensed professional has to diagnose someone, so it can't be done by a teacher or the online quizzes they have. So a professional has to be present to diagnose someone. That's done usually by giving a series of exams, so a reading exam, a writing exam, having a child read out loud. Sometimes they throw in a math exam just to see if it's dyscalculia, which is like dyslexia but with numbers and math. So some symptoms that I saw that could be common in kids with dyslexia is students who are seen as lazy, or students who kind of distract themselves or distract others when it comes to assignments, or they play around too much, kind of using that as a defense mechanism to avoid the assignment and avoid feeling embarrassed or like a failure or feeling dumb. And so that's kind of how it leads into how it affects child development, because the child goes undiagnosed, they go their whole life thinking that, oh, I can't read, or I can't read as well as my friends. And then some of the research I saw is that they just start disliking school, and that's how acting out more acting out issues happen, just because they're avoiding the assignment and they don't want to feel embarrassed, or they don't want their peers to realize that they're struggling, because kids can be cruel sometimes. So those are just some symptoms and things to look out for. There's no cure for it. It just takes strategy and practicing and finding ways to help the child cope with it. That's why one thing is really important is for the child, yes, to read in school and to do their assignments at school, but for also parents to be involved and kind of help their kid read at home and make sure that they're still getting like one-on-one attention, because a teacher can be really busy in a classroom full of 20 or 30 students. I chose this topic because my sister has dyslexia, and I kind of saw how it affected her. How she would get frustrated, she didn't like school, she would say like, my stomach hurts and I don't feel good, and didn't want to go to school. But she was diagnosed in 2nd or 3rd grade. She still has it, of course, there's no cure. She still gets nervous reading out loud or doing presentations, but she's kind of came up with her own ways to kind of cope with it and strategies that help her kind of move past it. The organization I researched was the International Dyslexia Association. They're the oldest dyslexia organization. They were founded like in the 1920s, so they've been around a while. They offer conferences, panels, newsletter resources to tutors, or informational packets on strategies and kind of helping parents out. It's not just for kids with dyslexia. They also have a section for college students with dyslexia or adults with dyslexia, because sometimes it goes undiagnosed and you don't find out till you're an adult that you've been struggling reading your whole life, but you never knew why. This is why. So they have resources for adults to kind of get practice. They also have a parent networking support group, which is parent-led, and it's just parents who have been through it, who have kids with dyslexia, or maybe they have dyslexia, and things that help them or their child. They have city branches, so in Texas, I believe it's Houston, Austin, and Dallas, where they have like local conferences and things. You can get resources there. While they have city branches, I feel like you could advocate more locally, so like school district wise, or even just like neighboring school districts, to get a better community feel of it, to get more community involvement and just awareness, so people know, because especially in like lower income schools, it goes undiagnosed, or parents don't pay attention if their kid is struggling, or the parent themselves could have dyslexia and not know it, so it just kind of gets ignored. So I think having something much more local and closer to home would help bring more awareness to dyslexia, and just letting people know that it's important to get tested if a kid is struggling, because it can affect their entire education, also affects their confidence and their personality and things like that. I just think to make it more common, more of a yearly thing, kids get tested for vision and hearing every year. I feel that there could also be a way to have them tested for dyslexia, because that's also going to affect their education long term. So just before I end the video, just a few pictures on how some people see dyslexia. This is not how everybody sees it, but everybody's different. So some may see it like this, where it's kind of blurry in the middle. And I know these pictures are hard to see, and I can upload it as well. Some see it like where there's double letters. My sister said this is how she sees it, so I think that's pretty interesting because I would never know. And some just completely mix up letters to where it just looks like gibberish, and that's why it takes a while for someone to focus and figure out what they're reading. So, I mean, looking at that, you can kind of see why someone would get frustrated, especially a child who doesn't understand, and it's kind of nerve-wracking to read in front of your peers and not be able to understand what you're reading. So that's my kind of overview of I did. But yeah, thank you for your time.